Almost nailed that one. Market vitals, the levels you need to triage the market. HFR, Matt, all the sudden.
Hold on. Breaking news. You got it up? Throw up the breaking news thing.
Breaking news? I'm not sure. We didn't go which one I'm supposed to go into first.
Breaking news.
Breaking. Oh, son of a bitch. We got Kamala, and then we got Kirk Herbstreit with a
clot.
With a clot.
That's scary shit.
In his throwing arm, and he can't go to the he can't go to the draft.
Yeah. Again, they're ramping it up already.
Matt. By the way, HFR from the floor. Robert Heffernan, Bobby Heff, Bobby Mistrade, Matt Davio, the don't, still currently banned, suspended on Twitter. At Elon, give the man a break here.
2 weeks.
2 weeks in the doghouse, wearing a gorgeous retro Detroit Red Wings hat. We're going to get into the Detroit Red Wing thing of things. But man, when you were saying breaking, I thought you wanted me to bring in this breaking. Hold on, I'll find it. Again, I gotta tell you, I've been off for a little bit, and man, does it show. Anyway, breaking news. Breaking news here. Manja TV, an official sponsor, now a new official sponsor for MarketVitals.io. A sign of the times. The new fragrance out of the Freedom Fighters is "Leave Me the Fuck Alone." The cologne for the man that is sick and tired of everything. I can't wait to splash it a little bit around. And Matt,
what do you think? What kind of pheromones do you think that will attract? Leave Me the Fuck Alone.
Leave Me the Fuck Alone is available at
Macy's, another fine retail establishment.
Fine retailers. This is what spurred the Leave Me the Fuck Cologne being such a smash hit in the retail world. Was this breaking news that we brought in as breaking news? It's not really breaking anymore. And I'll keep bringing it up, Matt. I will keep bringing this up. The peak of the elite cocksuckery. This was a World Economic Forum back in January saying that the good news is elites across the world trust each other more and more. The bad news is that the majority of people trust their elites. I love that. Like, do we have ownership of our elites? I didn't know we did, because that's pretty exciting.
Well, it kind of feels like they're being moved around on a chessboard right now, and they're being like against their will, which is beautiful to watch, actually.
Because these two elites, apparently Bill Gates hit up Elon Musk to discuss philanthropy on climate change. But Elon asked if he still had a $500 million short position on Tesla. Bill said he hadn't closed out the position. Elon told him to go fuck off. The hypocrisy of it all, Matt. Bill Gates, a climate champion, a champion of climate, shorting Tesla into the ground if he could. And these two these two elites have been at each other for a while. Bill Gates saying that there's not near enough power drive from battery operated vehicles for it to be feasible in the transportation class. And Elon is sending somebody to Mars within the next 10 years. I think I take Elon's word on this more than man boobs himself, but I love to see the elites trusting each other.
Well, the best one though happened while you were gone, where during the whole hostile takeover, where Elon posted the picture of the pregnant emoji and next to the Bill Gates picture, and they look. Dude, that was like fucking bitch slapping. It was great. I loved it.
All right, Matt. Speaking of, we got a new season, and is it the final season?
Yeah, it's the final. So the final season
Four,
period.
Part 2, the final episodes, well, they're like 4 or 5 episodes, premieres April 29th.
I think 8. I think there was 8. They did 8 the first
I for
side.
sure did not see the end coming of the last half season or whatever, part 1 of season 4.
Right.
They really got into it, talking about elites messing with each other.
Yeah.
And I wanted to talk about this because Netflix.
I have a feeling Ruth is going to win. I have a feeling.
Matt's betting on Ruth. You know what? I'm betting on the kid.
The kid? Nah, we don't have a heart for him. There's no heart for him. We could care less. Matter of fact,
how about that? So Netflix,
matter of fact, you got to think about it. Matter of fact, that kid's going to die.
Pre-COVID, Netflix was killing it with their content, and a ton of people pre-COVID were sharing, series like Ozark. They were doing a great job. We talked about this in the run-up in that valuation. Like they if they captured this market cap near the top, they got 20 years of programming locked up.
Right.
Who knows if they did or didn't? But going forward now, post-pandemic, if you are going to put a woke lineup out there, I have to figure you should look at CNN Plus as your metric to say to yourself, well, maybe that's not going to be so good. And the euphoria and angst over Elon taking over Twitter kind of paints the same picture here. But at the end of the day, Netflix is beholden to its shareholders. And if they don't produce content that people want to watch, not only they're not going to see increases in their subscribership, they're going to see it fall off a cliff.
Yeah. And let's do this. Let's look at this kind of with this thought in mind. And I'm going to talk about Roku. I'm going to talk about Netflix. I'm going to talk about Disney. And why not talk about like Warner Brothers, right? They own CNN now. So as we know, Netflix lost 200,000 or so subscribers. That's huge, Bob. And they lost me, by the way, over the weekend. I cashed in. I'm like, I'm out because I never watch it anyway. So I'm just paying for all my kids and their friends, and I'm out. I'm done with the
your own woke world way.
So I'm just another one. And you think about it, people that don't really watch it and they forget about it. Then they wake up one day and they have the news in their face every day. I'm like, what the hell? I got to cancel this thing. Like, cause I've thought about it over the years and I'd never watch it. So there's really nothing on there. I'm a sports guy. I could probably exist.
Hulu has live sports.
Right. But Hulu's owned by Disney. So we're going to get to that. But Here's the point. Netflix is trading at $202, Bob. I put out a tweet after the earnings this day when it was trading $214. I said, buy, sell, or hold. And I got to tell you, it was pretty third. So the buyers are getting whacked even further because it's down another 5-6% from 214. The sellers are happy, but I don't know, what else is going to take it down here? I can't tell you. But this is definitely, it's still, in my opinion, has room to move. We talked about this after the earnings. This thing could go quite a bit further down here to say 100. 80 to 100. Why wouldn't it? So just be aware that you're now into value zone, and any rallies that you got to like 300 would be sold again. There's plenty of people that want to get out 50% higher. So think about that. At 200, where do you want to be involved? Do you want to be involved at 200? Do you want to wait for 80 or 90, or do you want to wait for 300? Those are kind of the options that you have when you do something like that, I think. Disney, same thing. I mean, this thing is down every single day. It's unbelievable to watch market cap just dwindle away. 203, we were trading last May, and we're all the way down to 118. Think about that. Disney. Everybody's, I never got
his favorite generic mouse.
It's not my happiest place in the world, Disneyland, Disney World. Like that was never my thing. I don't watch Disney movies. I'm not saying my kids didn't. But I never was into the whole thing. I never liked it. So that hasn't changed. Point of control is about 111. Looks like we're definitely going there. And why couldn't we go down to 90? We were 79 into the COVID low. Why can't we go there? 212 billion market cap. They are still dumping this stock like you know what. Roku, Bob, one of our favorite left siders from last year, is now a full right side. And I love this chart. We haven't talked about it in a while, but basically 500 down to 90. Let's call that 82%. Let's call it 82%.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
How the fuck does Melvin Capital not make money?
I don't understand that either. If they're short, if they are a short biased fund, we didn't, again, you were gone. We didn't get to talk about this. Something else is going on there. That doesn't make any sense. If one position hurts you, that's one thing, but if they have 30 other good, every stock we've talked about, we've been doing this for the last year and a half.
Hey, Melvin Campbell, the guys behind, why don't you hire me and Matt and give us another stab at it?
It's unbelievable. And then Amazon, Roku. Yeah. So Roku is all the way back here to $90, from 500. So that's 82%, gone. 82%, market cap gone. Amazon, obviously has a digital platform for media. And again, this continues to be, until this breaks, and we're there again, by the way, we are there again.
And brackets.
We are below the line, which is about 28.70. We are below it.
And they're one of the ones that are it's all.
They have earnings on, I think, is it today? No, it is Thursday. Thursday earnings for Amazon. So that's coming up this week. Again, and I'll throw Google out there because Google has YouTube, right? They have a TV thing too. Every one of these, you can watch the same stuff, I guess is what I'm saying. So why do you need all of them, right? For one show? That's awfully dumb. So anyways, but Google, I hadn't looked at it in a while. And last time I looked at it was probably up here, 2,800 again, and the stuck up there. Bob, it has made new lows this week. So Google is trading down here. They have a split coming up. They had their earnings today, so those are coming probably at the close today, and then they have the split coming on July, so that's coming up too. So, anyways, this thing is getting really oversold, but it's coming into earnings. I don't know. I don't necessarily see Google's earnings being bad, but again, I'm not an analyst.
Again, there is such a giant platform of
but this chart, regardless of good or bad, this chart is fully rolling.
Looks like Roku.
But it's just beginning.
I know. That's what I mean. It looks like
and the split area, even without a split, it could trade down to 1,100. That was, again, COVID low. So why wouldn't we? We went up 3x. This, you're talking a 1.5 trillion market share. And then this doesn't have anything to do with anything that we've just been talking about, but I find it interesting that as soon as Elon takes Twitter private, the attacks came, right? If you can't see this, like today, they're coming out releasing conversations between the Saudi wealth fund manager and Elon, and makes, and it's basically saying Elon saying you're making me look bad, whining, right? So it's like this whole attack is going to come out against him now to try to discredit him for everything. And you can just see this is like the next card. This is the next card that gets played. And so I'm sure Elon's well aware of it and he knows the game and he's pretty good at deflection. So, but the stock is down another $100 today, Bob. And again, so yeah, he spent 44 billion, but he's also lost, in the last it's called $200.
Whoa, did you see that thread? I apologize. I disappeared on everybody.
Yep, you have.
You see the thread? I'm just talking from the Matrix. That's me on Truth Social, Matt. HFR from the Matrix.
Right.
Hold on a second. Let me come back at you all.
Please.
Stop with the intro. Stop with the intro. Truth Social available. There was a thread though in Twitter, and I should have copied it because the guy was saying this is the end for Elon because when Tesla goes to $55, he's going to be underwater on all the money that he borrowed to finance the buy of Twitter.
Yeah,
and
that's what. But my point is that is what sharks will try to do. I'm not saying they can do it. I'm not in that camp. I don't know if it's going to go from 1,090 or whatever it was last week. It's down $200 though. So 20% of his wealth was wiped away in less than 3 days since he did the deal. I mean,
Wait a second, I thought the elites were trusting each other more
Yeah.
and more. Are you telling me that Bill Gates might have put the pedal down on his short position of Tesla because he's worried?
I think
about
he doubled
the
down
climate?
on the $500 million. He made it $1 billion. I mean, I'm just saying, look at the volume here, Bob. Look at the volume in the last 4 days. The elites are selling. I mean, this is not insignificant, and nothing changed. Nothing inside Tesla. There was no news. The only news was Elon buying a social media company, right? But this volume should make you go, whoa. I mean, look at this volume. Do you see anything like it? No.
It has not had that in. You could probably go back that chart for a couple of years and not see that kind of volume.
Yes. And and again, this is the same thing we're seeing. Here's what it feels like. I'm going to say this right now. I tweeted this earlier. The markets are being sold so hard since last Thursday. There's going to be some news coming before May 10th.
Well, I'm getting short right now then.
Well,
no, I agree. Here's one thing for sure. If this was a trading floor and that kind of volume, it would have been the loudest pit by far on
That's
the
my
floor.
point.
And it would have attracted people from every quadrant, every pit would have been in the Tesla pit saying, what the fuck is going on? And the order fillers would have been looking like they just went through a cage match with Andre the Giant.
And I'm going to show you, and I'm going to bring up Google. Look at it here. I mean, again, I'm just showing you the last 4 days.
Volume giant.
Huge. These are not small companies with small volume, right? This is everybody just saying, like, somebody sent out the memo that this shit is coming down, whatever the shit is. And I have no idea what it is. Well, I can only guess, but it feels to me like there's something big coming in the next 10 days. Again, if I don't see it by May 10th, I'm wrong. But this feels to me right now, it's either, I don't know, war, bigger war. I don't know.
All right, man. What else do we got here? I've been in the Mississippi Gulf Coast. I said,
well, we're about to, we're getting through the first round of the NBA playoffs, of which I watched all of 2 seconds, maybe. I gotta
tell you, man. New
did
Orleans.
You see Davey? Yeah, New Orleans tied it up, which I watched those first 2 games. And now it's 2-2, and they don't even have Zion because he's too fat. They won't let him play. Like, my son told me that yesterday. I'm like, why isn't he playing? He said because he's too fat. I'm like, oh my God, he's been out all year because he's too fat. So he's sitting on the sidelines eating McDonald's and they won't play him. I mean, why do you keep paying the guy? He's been in the league like 3 years, and I think he's played all of like 2 minutes. Anyways, hockey playoffs are kicking off. I think they finished this week, the regular season.
Man, we're talking on the way in that your Detroit Red Wings, what a run. After the Iron Curtain came down, and you disagreed with this, but I said they became the full Red Army version in the NHL.
They had a lot of them.
But what a domination.
But they also, they were the Red Army Swedes, so it was the mix that made it work.
But 91 to 2017?
Yep. 91 to 2016, 27 years in a row, they made the Stanley playoffs, and they won 4 in there, probably lost 4 in the finals. It was a fun run, but Stevie Yzerman is back. He is the general manager. Don't forget that. So I think, actually why I got a couple Red Wings hats last week was I've been watching a few of their games. They're young and they're not going to make the playoffs, but the second half of the season was really strong. And I like the attitude. It kind of feels like that attitude that Detroit had after the wall came down, with all of that energy from Russians who just wanted to play hockey and be paid for what, they're worth. I mean, and they embraced the whole American, this is what's so fascinating, Bob. Detroit's about as blue collar as it gets, when it comes to fans. And those fans, and like today, if they weren't fans of the Red Wings, they would hate all Russians, because that's what the media is feeding them. But back then, they absolutely embraced, took them in, loved them.
How different is it? Like
That's what I'm saying. It's so
back then
fascinating.
were embraced. Now, if you have a Russian descent, you're getting banned from playing.
Yeah, I mean, Wimbledon says all the Russians and Belarusians can't play in Wimbledon. Well, guess what? I'm not watching Wimbledon because that's ridiculous. They're just athletes. They're not throwing bombs. I mean, it's got to, it can't stay like this. It can't stay like this forever. We can't keep doing this stuff. But
right,
we also had a conversation. Yeah, we also had a conversation that Detroit, the athletes also became a product of that environment coming out of the whole, from the race riots until the inflationary times, the late 70s, or the crack epidemic in Detroit in the early 80s. And then the Tigers won it all in 84, then the Pistons, 88, 89. And that really was a resurrection of Detroit during that period. Now,
it's amazing how sometimes sports can do that.
Yeah. Yeah. And then they started talking about, new stadiums. The Tigers were first, and then Ford Field, and then now, Little Caesars. So they're all
Little
downtown.
Caesars, is it back downtown? I know they played it.
Yeah. And they called it Little Caesars. It was the Palace out in Auburn Hills. So
is that where they still play?
No, they play in Little Caesars. No, the Pistons, all 4 teams are downtown Detroit. So nobody's out in the burbs anymore. They're all in the same 2-block area. So, it's pretty nice. But it is an interesting thing. And but coming back to the Wings, they're not going to make it, but I like their future. I think they're going to be there the next year or two. And I'm excited to get the Red Wings back into the playoffs. It's hard though. As I said, the returning champs from Montreal aren't there. Yeah, they're not even going to.
Blackhawks have been.
I think the Red Wings have a better record than the Canadians from last year. Go figure.
All right. I got to ease my way back into this whole thing. I spent, 2 days in New Orleans, French Quarter Festival, 4 days in Biloxi. I got to tell you, man, the South is having a good time. They're back at it. They are back at it in the South, having a nice time with oysters and I got to tell you, if you get a chance to go to the Mississippi Gulf Coast, New Orleans, even the Panhandle of Florida, like this time of year, the soft shell crab are in season. It's one of my favorite things on the planet. That and the gumbo, forget about it. I'm Bubba Gump all over when I get down there.
Hey, Lee is asking about Zillow, and Zillow's obviously been struggling. We've talked about it. I'll bring it up real quick. And it's fully right-sided. It's below value. This is an 89-minute. It's going to test the COVID lows. And again, I'm going to stick with this name. Most equities will test the COVID low. And so figure out where you are and where we are in that path. But we're going there, and we're probably going to go below the COVID low. But I can say with pretty good confidence, because most of these names have already hit the COVID low and are going lower. So again, this macro trend is here. The low on Zillow back in the COVID was right around $20. Let's call it 19. We're, you got another 50% from here, Lee. So if you're short, continue to ride it. Nothing. I mean, gosh, just the money that could have been made on all these right-siders.
Again, how does
we've been talking about them for a year and a half. So congratulations.
How does Melvin Capital go out of business shorting a market that has
he should have been a handful. He should have been turning away money because there's not a lot to short from the levels that he was shorting before. I mean, seriously, like what's wrong with that guy?
I don't know.
Yeah.
All right, that's all I really got, Matt.
So yeah, you got your earnings over the shoulder. A lot of them coming up, and Earnings Whisper is a great site, Bob, for people to look at that. So point that out. I don't know. It's like I said, we've been eerily quiet news, except for Twitter the last 2 weeks and Elon. It's been quiet. Like we haven't even heard much about the Ukrainian conflict. That's quieted down dramatically. And because I think there's something else out there right now. I don't know what it is.
It feels like that, doesn't it?
It feels
What
like
am I talking about? I was in a hazy glaze on the golf course for 5 days.
Oh,
And
I
then
thought you were
eventually-
I thought you were at Krispy Kreme every morning with a hazy glaze.
I got to tell you though, in Ocean Springs, Mississippi is the biggest Krispy Kreme I have ever seen in my life. I'm
And
not
what was?
kidding.
And let me ask you. Let me
It
ask
looked
you
like a
what
Ford plant.
let me ask you what the median female. Oh, I'm going to say this. What the median female and male weight was inside that place.
I didn't go. I just saw the side of it. But generally in the South, people are enjoying themselves regularly with calories. For sure.
They're not calorically deficient.
No. And then the other thing, the humidity. I got to tell you, humidity is so great when you don't live in it. Like when you visit it, it's great. You feel like your skin is just so.
I thought about that. I thought about this when you were pumping the, Shaq's company, Gold Bond, and I was like, you and Shaq would do a great commercial together.
Hey, Shaq, come on, let's do one. Let's do one on the new Earl Scheib.
And especially because he went to LSU. Like, I mean,
Listen, hey, Shaq, this is directly to you. You tell me that we could have made a ton of money setting up like an Earl Scheib. I don't know if you're familiar with Earl Scheib. I'll paint any car for $99.95. You just put up a little 10-foot spray booth that, just like a hallway that you walk through. And when you're at like the French Quarter Fest and it's 82 degrees and 96% humidity, you just walk in, you drop your trowel, and the Gold Bond spray machine just gives you an up and under.
It's basically a spray tan with Gold Bond.
Yes, exactly. And then you pull up and you head out the other end of the booth, and the next person is, and it's got.
And honestly, there probably 80% of America could use that product in the summer because it's humid.
Any festival, like Jack, our booth will have. What you think the line at the beer tent is long? The line at the HFR Shack Earl Scheib over under spray with the Gold Bond medicated powder triple action. It's like a mint julep enema, just about. It's
oh my God.
It's so refreshing, somewhat startling. And then you enjoy Lee's saying too much information. Lee, I guarantee you, if you're at a festival and you see the Earl Scheib Gold Bond booth sponsored by HFR and Shaq, you are taking a stroll through it. Hold my beer. I got to go through the Scheib. Anyway, that's what I got. I'm an idea guy. I like idea. I'm an idea guy. Give me another great $1 billion idea, and this is it.
Lee, are you going to the second? Weekend of Coachella, or is it the third now? I don't know. I think it's over.
I saw a write-up on that. Talk about another place where they need the booth.
Yeah.
A half-hour walk from the parking lot to the festival.
Oh, I've been there because we used to do at the Polo Grounds there every January. The best lacrosse tournament of the year was at the Polo Grounds in at Indio, and that's where all this is going on for the concert.
Wait, I thought Polo Grounds were fairly white and racist.
They were, and they are, but there's a lot of there's definitely a lot of the state
about white privilege. I need 30 horses.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. Although there's no water out in the desert there in Palm Springs, for some reason, the Indio Polo Grounds is the nicest freaking grass I've ever seen. It's green everywhere. I mean, wow. And so the kids playing lacrosse on those fields was a treat. It was a treat for me as a fan, because I was like my dog rolling in the grass. I was like, this is so nice. Rolling around in the tightly coiffed, manicured lawns of the Indio Polo Grounds, playing lacrosse. So yeah,
right, Matt.
I bet Coachella is quite an experience, and it's not that hot this time of year. It's probably only getting into the low 90s, but
dude, they showed the picture.
Let me just ask you: Do you have a gender specific booths for those that need?
What for
your product?
Scheib?
Yeah, for the spray on. Like
for the
is the female product different than does the female product?
Man, it's an enclosed booth, so and we can mechanize it. We need to talk to somebody from Ford from the spray booth right? That comes, that has the thing that whips underneath the lower panel and gives it a good
undercoating.
And bet, you know what? Maybe we talk to Krispy Kreme because they got the same thing, only it spits glazed.
True. You just put a glaze on your body and shine and shimmy and shine at the Coachella Music Festival. I mean, then the marketing narratives are.
Let me tell you something too. On the way out, the song playing on the way out is "Do the Tighten Up," because that's how you'll feel. You'll feel like you're all tightened up. All right, I'm okay now. I can walk another half a block in this humidity without dying. All right. Enough about Gold Bond. Please join marketvitals.io. Please share, retweet, plagiarize. Please take my idea. I'll just have Shaq knock on your door and say, hey, that was our idea. Anyway.
Shaq will.
That's what I got going. That's what I got. Thank you, Lee.
I think it's a beautiful idea.
Tomorrow for another fantastic episode. Market Vitals, the levels you need to triage the market. Join us at marketvitals.io. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you, Bobby. Welcome home.
Right on.